Cheer up, Marcus, it's just a forest, not the abyss.
Easy for you to say. You haven't heard the legends about whispering pines.
They pushed through gnarled branches, leaves crunching beneath their feet. A twig snapped in the distance, sharp and clear.
Did you hear that?
Probably just a squirrel, scaredy cat.
The air grew colder, the fog thicker. The scent of pine was overtaken by something damp and rotten.
This was a terrible idea, Jack. We should turn back.
Jack laughed, but it lacked its usual confidence.
Almost there. I saw a clearing on the map just ahead.
A low growl echoed through the trees, sending a shiver down Marcus's spine. Jack froze, his smile fading.
Did you hear that?
This is exactly like the stories.
A pair of glowing eyes pierced the darkness, followed by the outline of a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. Its jagged teeth gleamed in the moonlight, and long claws scraped against the forest floor.
Run!
Jack screamed, breaking into a sprint. Marcus, paralyzed with fear, could only stare at the monstrous silhouette. The creature let out a deafening roar, shaking the very ground beneath them. Marcus finally snapped out of his daze and ran, the creature's heavy footsteps pounding behind him. Trees whipped past as they ran, branches tearing at their clothes. The forest was dense, almost suffocating, with shadows dancing menacingly around them. Every step was a struggle, every breath a labor. The air was thick with the scent of pine and the earthy aroma of damp soil. Their hearts pounded in their chests, a frantic rhythm that matched their hurried pace. The forest seemed endless, a maze of green and brown that offered no respite. They could hear the creature's growls growing louder, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked just behind them. The creature was gaining on them, its hot breath scorching their heels. It was a monstrous figure, with eyes that glowed like embers in the dark. Its claws were sharp, glinting menacingly as it closed the distance. The ground shook with its every step, a testament to its immense size and power. The characters could feel the heat of its breath, a searing reminder of the peril they were in. They pushed themselves harder, their muscles burning with the effort, but the creature was relentless, its pursuit unyielding.
This way, over here, hurry.
Jack veered off the path, deeper into the woods. He hoped the thicker underbrush would slow the creature down. The trees grew closer together here, their branches intertwining to form a nearly impenetrable barrier. Jack's mind raced as he tried to think of a plan, any plan, to escape the relentless beast. The shadows seemed to close in around them, the darkness almost tangible. He could hear Marcus struggling behind him, each step a battle against the encroaching vegetation. They scrambled through the undergrowth, thorns ripping at their skin. Marcus tripped, falling hard. The ground was uneven, littered with roots and rocks that made every step treacherous. Jack turned back, his heart in his throat, as he saw Marcus sprawled on the ground. The creature's growls were deafening now, a terrifying symphony that filled the forest. Jack knew they had only moments before it would be upon them. He looked back to see the creature looming over him, its claws outstretched. The beast's eyes burned with a fierce intensity, its mouth twisted into a snarl. Time seemed to slow as Jack watched the creature prepare to strike. The air was thick with tension, every second stretching into an eternity. Jack's mind raced, searching for a way to save his friend. Just as the creature lunged, Jack grabbed Marcus's arm and hauled him to his feet. With a surge of adrenaline, they stumbled forward, their legs moving on instinct. The creature's claws swiped through the air where Marcus had been just moments before. Jack's grip was firm, his determination unwavering. They couldn't afford to stop, not even for a second. The forest was their only hope, its dense foliage their only shield against the relentless predator. They continued their desperate flight, the creature's frustrated roar echoing behind them. The sound was a mix of anger and hunger, a chilling reminder of the fate that awaited them if they were caught. The forest seemed to stretch on forever, an endless labyrinth of trees and shadows. But Jack and Marcus didn't stop. They couldn't. Their survival depended on their ability to keep moving, to stay one step ahead of the beast that hunted them. The night was far from over, and their journey had only just begun. The fog began to thin, revealing a clearing up ahead. In the center stood a dilapidated shack, a flickering lantern casting eerie shadows around it. A weathered wooden sign hung above the door, Safe Haven.
Don't stop.
Marcus gasped, pushing past Jack towards the shack. He fumbled with the doorknob. Locked. The creature's roar sounded closer than ever. Jack slammed his shoulder against the door, splintering the wood. They tumbled inside, slamming the door shut just as the creature reached the clearing. They crouched in the darkness, catching their breath. The air was thick with tension, every creak and rustle amplified in the silence. They had been running for what felt like hours, their legs heavy with exhaustion. The darkness seemed to close in around them, a suffocating blanket that offered no comfort. The only light came from the flickering lantern, revealing cobwebs and dust-covered furniture. The room looked like it hadn't been touched in years, a forgotten relic of a time long past. The lantern's light danced on the walls, casting eerie shadows that seemed to move on their own.
We're safe. For now, at least. The words hung in the air, a fragile hope that could be shattered at any moment. They knew better than to let their guard down, but the brief respite was a welcome relief.
Marcus whispered, his voice trembling with relief. He had been the one to find the hiding spot, a small victory in their desperate flight. His eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of danger. Suddenly, a raspy voice broke the silence. It was a sound that sent chills down their spines, a reminder that they were never truly alone.
Safe? The voice was skeptical, almost mocking. It was a question that needed no answer, a cruel reminder of the reality they faced. Nothing's safe in these woods. The words echoed in their minds, a grim truth that they couldn't escape. The forest was a place of shadows and secrets where danger lurked behind every tree.
A figure emerged from the shadows, his face hidden by a wide-brimmed hat. He moved with a quiet confidence, as if he belonged to the darkness. His presence was both unsettling and strangely reassuring. He held a lantern identical to the one casting the flickering light. It was a small detail, but it made them uneasy. Who was this stranger? And why did he have a lantern just like theirs?
Who are you? The question was simple, but it carried the weight of their fear and curiosity. They needed to know if this man was friend or foe.
Jack demanded, his voice wary. He didn't trust easily, and this situation was no exception. His eyes never left the stranger, watching for any sign of threat. The stranger chuckled, a low, unsettling sound. It was a laugh that held no warmth, only a cold amusement. It made their skin crawl.
You can call me the gatekeeper. The title was ominous, filled with implications they didn't want to consider. What gate did he keep, and what price would they have to pay to pass through it? And you two just bought yourselves a ticket out. The words were both a promise and a threat, leaving them with more questions than answers. What had they done to earn this ticket, and where would it take them?
He gestured to the lantern in his hand, its light casting long shadows on the walls of the cavern. The lantern was old, its metal frame tarnished and its glass cracked, but it still emitted a warm, steady glow. The light seemed to push back the darkness, creating a small bubble of safety around them.
This lantern holds back the darkness. It is our only defense against the creatures that lurk in the shadows. Without it, we would be lost, swallowed by the night. The lantern's flame is a beacon of hope, a symbol of our will to survive. But the beast you encountered, it craves light. It craves this flame. The creature is drawn to the lantern's glow, like a moth to a flame. It is both our shield and our bait, attracting the very thing it protects us from. The beast is relentless, and it will stop at nothing to reach the light.
He handed the lantern to a stunned Jack, who took it with trembling hands. Jack's eyes were wide with fear, but there was also a spark of determination in them. He knew the weight of the responsibility he was being given, and he was ready to face it.
You must keep it lit until sunrise. The flame is our lifeline, our only chance of making it through the night. If it goes out, the darkness will consume us and the beast will have its way. You must protect the flame with your life. If the flame dies, the beast will return, it will come for us and there will be no escape. The lantern's light is the only thing keeping it at bay. We must keep it burning no matter what.
Before they could react, the floor beneath them gave way. The ground crumbled, and they were plunged into darkness. The lantern slipped from Jack's grasp, tumbling through the air as they fell. The world around them was a blur of shadows and fear. They plunged into darkness, the lantern falling with them. The light flickered and danced as it tumbled, casting eerie shadows on the walls of the pit. The fall seemed to last forever, a never-ending descent into the unknown. Marcus landed hard, the wind knocked out of him. Pain shot through his body, but he forced himself to move, to get up. He knew they didn't have much time. The beast would be coming for them, drawn by the lantern's light. He looked around for Jack, his heart pounding. The darkness was thick, almost tangible, and it was hard to see anything. Panic began to set in, but he fought it back. He had to find Jack, and he had to find the lantern. He spotted the lantern, its flame flickering precariously close to going out. The light was weak, but it was still there, a small glimmer of hope in the darkness. He scrambled towards it, his heart racing, and then he heard it, a low growl, echoing through the darkness. The sound sent chills down his spine. The beast was close, and it was coming for them. The creature's deafening roar, echoing all around them, it was a sound of pure terror, a reminder of the danger they were in. The beast was relentless, and it would not stop until it had them. They were trapped, and their only hope of survival was fading fast. The lantern's flame was their only protection, and it was barely holding on. They had to keep it lit, no matter what. Their lives depended on it.